What's up, everybody? It's Mike here from AHC Garage, and I got Brian with me today, and we are back with another episode on this unexpected purchase, a 2000 Honda Civic Si. Brian, what are we doing today?
Well, this is my favorite episode because everything is going to come together in this episode. We're going to see this car complete. That's right, our final project complete here, but I still have a lot of parts to paint. You can't believe there's so many small accessory parts, from the moldings, from the bumpers, from the spoiler, and all the little filler pieces that make this car what it is. So we're gonna go ahead, jump into the body shop. I'm gonna show you everything that I gotta paint, and then I'm gonna come back here and start to get it assembled.
Let's do it.
Now, once we got the EM1 all spray, we went back and we tidied up a few things. Like the underside of this hood, we knew it could be just a little bit better. Now, we weren't looking to make it better than factory, but we wanted to make it look just like the factory. So we sanded everything down and we got everything nice and smooth. So once we got it all nice and smooth, then we used this black sealer, which is like a thinned out primer, and that went over some of the metal areas and the original paint, and it sealed everything in nice. Then we went over it with our color code, the same as the car, but this time we put a little bit of hardener in it to give it that same exact look as it does as the underside of any hood from the factory from that same era. Now, when it was all done and we pulled off the tape off the stickers, this is the end result. A beautiful looking underside of the hood. Now, we did follow that same procedure and technique on the radiator support bracing in the front of the hood area, and let me tell you, this really cleaned up the whole look of the vehicle, and then we were able to replace it later on with the stickers and the appropriate hardware to make it look factory once again. Now, once all that was done, it was time to work on these bumpers, which did need some work and some plastic body filler in some of those areas. Now, plastic body filler is flexible, so you can put it on bumpers, and we're using our flexible primer on all of our plastic flexible parts. So if this car were ever to be hit again, or the flexibility of just moving up and down on the highway or the roadway, it's not going to leave any sort of stress cracks. Now, if you're looking at this right now and say, why are you priming over the grill and the vent holes? Well, this is the way that we do it, and we're going to show you. If you hold on for just a little bit, we're going to go ahead and primer the whole entire bumper. In fact, all of the plastic pieces we're going to do in a high build primer. Then we're going to come back in a black primer once it's sanded down, and then we'll seal it. So what we do is we get them all painted up first, and then we'll come back and we'll do all of those little areas that need that trim black. And this is the cleanest and most efficient way, rather than trying to preserve and tape it off. It just never really works out or leaves it nice and clean. So as we finish up here with the rear bumper, we got a nice full coat of primer on, and we'll apply 2 to 3 coats of primer just to get it all nice and built up. Now, here's where you see that black primer that was already put on over that gray primer, and we're going over it with a black sealer now. So we're covering it up with the black sealer, and this is the last step. And this is a lot of work to get these to this point, but this is the last step before base coat. You can see the base coat is on, and it's all ready to be cleared. Now, the clear coat will enhance the actual shine, give it the UV resistance, and make it look like the rest of the vehicle. Once it's already been painted, we'll be able to button these back up, and it's gonna look fantastic. So once we get everything all nice and cleared up, we'll be able to see the final shine, and the final shine that we're using here is a Sikkens product. Now, Sikkens product is called PC. This is a PC clear, and it just has awesome gloss. Now, if you've been following AHC Garage, you've seen me paint my blue RSX. This is the same clear coat I used on it. It's just got great shine, and most of all, it has UV resistance, and it does not dye back. It is a high solids, meaning that after it dries, all the solids stay on or in the clear coat rather than coming out. Some of those Trooper clears will look good when you spray them, but a few weeks or months down the road, once all of the solids come out and it releases everything from the paint, you're left with really nothing as a clear coat. But not in this case. So we're going to use our same techniques for the front lip. The front lip did take some work to get it all nice and cleaned up, and the same technique for the grill as well. You can see on this vehicle, everything was completely broken apart just to get the full refinish everywhere and to get the cleanest lines. If you're going to tape off things, you're not going to get those clean lines, and you're not going to be able to ensure that it's not going to peel later down the road. And that's the good thing about doing the cars like this. taking them fully apart. So once the front lip was all cleared up, you can see the results are just like the front. Then we were able to take the bumper after it cured and masked up all those areas that are going to receive that SEM trim black. Everything's scuffed up, and then just a simple one-part black. It could be sprayed out of a spray can or a spray gun. We chose to use the spray gun because it's a little bit easier to apply in the tight areas like this grill as well as these vent holes. Now here it is all together with the front lip on and the grill, and it is shining, and man, this really took me back. Now we get to work on that rear bumper. Now, rear bumper did take a little bit of work to get it all nice and smooth, since it does have that big flat area on the back of the bumper. We wanted to ensure that this area was nice and flat. So when you're looking at this car from behind, everything is nice and smooth. And it doesn't stop there. A lot of these parts of these cars have a lot of accessories. Remember those trims on those doors? Yep, well, each and every single one of them needs to get the same treatment as all the other parts on the car. Yeah, these were the first things to get banged up when another door actually hit your car door, so they have some nicks and bruises along the way. And don't forget about those filler pieces in the back next to the trunk and the bumper. Yep, those need to get the same exact treatment as well. So those are getting primed up, and the gas lid as well. I got the full coverage everywhere, so we'll be able to spray all of these parts and get a nice finish. So we also have the filler plate that goes into the trunk, and we have all of the trims all mounted up. Now you have to mount these in such a way that you can get the full refinish all around. If you don't mount your parts up perfectly, then we might get some areas that don't get the amount of clear that they need. You can see here, even with the gas lid. Now we did take it a step further. We did put clear behind the glass lid, and that was not factory. It was just really regular matte black, but we did put some clear behind there because I think it's going to look a little bit nicer. You can let me know here at the end of the video if that was a good step. So as far as this rear bumper is concerned, we want this to come out really good. So we're following it up with what we call a WS400 Series 2. Now, if you're looking at this spray gun, this is the same spray gun we've used throughout the whole entire build process of painting it. Now, this gun works really well because you can atomize the clear at such a fine rate that once it hits the panel and once it dries, it's going to leave that factory finish. Now, it's not a dead flat finish. We're looking for that factory style finish. So when you look at this car, you have to think to yourself, was this car ever repainted? Because it's got that factory look. Now, if you want to take your project a further step, it will require a lot more work to sand down every single panel and polish it flat. Also, when you sand down the panels and polish it, you're going to lose some of that UV resistance. So be very careful when you do that. We've only taken this car and nibbed out any of the imperfections and polished them up, because for the most part, everything you see here has come out just the way it looks. Basically can just pop it back on the car and it's good to go. It does not need any buffing. It's not to say that some areas do have some minor imperfections that need some polishing, but we can perfect it with some minor sanding and polishing to make this thing look 100%. If you take a look at that rear bumper, all the time behind each and every one of these parts to get them right is a good amount of time and length and work put into the body shop to make sure that they have the finish that they want. Because don't forget, black will show everything. It might be the easiest to paint, but it will show everything. So we are rounding third base on this project, and we have the spoiler, the side skirts left to do, and later the mirrors. So the side skirts were needing a lot of work, and we took it a step further and we prepared the complete bottom. So when this car is on the lift, you're not going to see any road debris or chips from the 20+ years that this vehicle has been on the road. We want to go ahead with the same process of sealing it black, basing it, and giving it that same clear coat. No matter if you'll never see the light of day on the bottom of the car, we want all of our parts on the vehicle to have the same exact finish, and well, that's exactly what we're getting here. So after we're finished clearing it, you'll see that it has a great gloss, and the spoiler as well, finishing it up here. Now this actual stand mounts perfectly for spoilers. I have a special spoiler attachment kit that I can go ahead and mount it up so I can get that full coverage. Some guys, when they paint spoilers, they will be able to get the top portions of the spoiler, but they never be able to wrap it around and get the bottom. Sometimes they'll have to paint it separately just to get the full refinish, but I've got this mounted in such a way that I can paint it all at one time, or any spoiler that we do, and get that full refinish. It really is the extra step when trying to make something look factory just like this. And believe it or not, mounting parts onto stands is one of my most favorite things to do in the body shop, because I like to mount them in such a way just to get that full paint refinish. And you can see here, it just speaks volumes to get that nice shine. So once that was all done, we just had to finish it up with the side view mirrors. Were actually probably the easiest to prepare and paint on the whole entire vehicle. Now that glass, if you ever try to take it out, it will break. So that did have to get taped off. So don't try to take that out. That will break. So once it were all done, it was good to go. I'm ready to turn it back to TJ and Mike and get everything nice and installed. All right, so you saw the bumper just get fully refinished. Now this is it actually all together, and take a look at it. Now the coolest thing about this whole entire project is we were able to take all the parts and refinish them, not having to buy a new bumper, not having to get a new grille, not having to do any of that, because we were able to use, again, that black SEM texture on the lower grille and the upper grille as well, and do a full refinish of that very hard to find front lip. We all know they're hard to find, especially that rear lip as well. And we get a complete full refinish. Now what is left before we install this, we gotta get those headlights in, and then we can fit our beautiful bumper onto the EM1. All right, TJ's gonna get the headlights put in. Now these headlights came with the car. They're actually new OEMs. So once we get everything installed, we'll go over the headlights, give them a little bit of a buff because they have been sitting outside, and I'll shine them right up. All right, we're gonna put this bolt in that TJ forgot here. Perfect, nice. And the last one he forgot over here, perfect. Now we can tighten it up.
We're gonna go ahead and throw this headlight in. Brian didn't know how to plug them in, so I'm just gonna go ahead and plug these in for him since he didn't really know what he was doing. So go ahead and do that. You know, simple 2 plugs. It's nothing.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the bolts in that TJ didn't know how to put in on the other side, and I'll show you a special little trick to line these up that I know about. There's a small hole right in here, and that hole lines right up, and as soon as they line up, it's a perfect fitment.
Before we get ahead of ourselves, let's note that the body shop people put the ground in the wrong hole. Yet again, we got to fix the body shop faults.
What we actually did is we put it here temporarily so the car would start, so we could get it over here. All right, once we get that lined up, I'll go ahead and do the hard part here and put these bolts right in. Now we're gonna put the grommet in. Now that arrow right there, not a lot of people know this, but that faces inward. Now be careful with this bumper. I know you've never I know you've never really felt anything this smooth before. But we're gonna go ahead and place this on.
Let's not try to drop it on the lip, okay?
Just careful of my fresh paint, please. All right, nice and easy, nice and smooth, just like butter. Look at that, Mike. All right, so we got all the accessory parts like you just saw. We got them all painted. This is actually for the other side. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get everything all buttoned up, and this is when the project really comes together. We got Type S Terry. He's gonna take it from here and get everything nice and snapped in.
Like Brian said, we have the rest of the parts painted. What we have here is some nice Resto tuner parts. These are, well, first of all, these are taillight gaskets, which I'm sure some of you might know. You can't find replacement taillight gaskets for these Civics anymore, obviously, because a lot of stuff is not available anymore. So Resto Tuner makes the taillight gasket sets, right? All you have to do is just take off the piece here, and you can stick them right on just like the factory. And I believe these are a little bit thicker, so when you compress it, it'll compress the foam down and seal it up really nice. They also make the clips for the side skirts. You have the little push pin clips that go on the bottom of the side skirts. And then of course we have all new 8mm hardware for the taillights itself, so we don't have to put the old rusty, crusty ones back on. So yeah, I would check those guys out if you guys need any kind of restoration parts for your older model Civics and Integras, because chances are you're not gonna be able to find this stuff anywhere, and he has all that for you. All right, so here's the Resto Tuner clips for the side skirts. It even comes with these weather seal gaskets, which is pretty nice that they they redo that, so that's pretty cool. And all you do is just slide them in. And that's it. I'm just gonna slide them all in. We're just gonna pop right in place. We'll line up all of our clips. Just make sure these are all lined up. Right. There you go. So they give you all new speed clips as well. All right, we're gonna pop on the body side moldings here. You guys see there used to be a foam, like a thin, like kind of foam rubber tape that was on it, but it got deteriorated. Obviously it's an old piece, so that deteriorated, so we put this EPT foam tape, and that's going to help keep it from scratching the body, and it'll kind of seal any kind of water from dripping down and going into these holes. So you know, it looks thicker than it really is. Once you push it, it's going to squish down anyway, so you won't see it.
All right, so now we're gonna move to the back of the car. We're gonna go ahead and put our license plate filler.
Yeah. All right.
And the inner taillight is up next here. All right, so now we're gonna prep our outer tail light. Perfect fitment on the gasket. And guys, next up we will be putting on our spoiler. TJ's putting on the screws. We just got the harness through the trunk lid. I'm just holding it up right there for him. and take a look at the base of the spoiler. The original gasket is all worn out. We had to use some thick EPT tape and made our own gasket. Hey, Tuju, didn't we do the same thing on the red EM1?
Yeah, we did.
Sort of make our own gasket there.
We did the same thing.
Let's take a look, guys. Boom. She's really coming together.
You can't even tell our homemade gaskets on there.
Yeah. Nice. This is the reinforcement bar. Alright, we got the foam. Alright, so we've got a new grommet here. There you go. And we got the rear bumper all tightened up, and we're gonna move on to the quarter panel where the gas door is located. Yep, freshly repainted too as well. Take a look at that right there. Like brand new. And now with all of the body panels all finished up, now we're gonna give our EM1 our true identity, which is decals and emblems. And we're gonna start off with our decal right here at a quarter panel. And teacher just prepped the area with some alcohol. And here we have our side decal.
The sticker here, it has the little edge here. This is gonna bend to the corner of the door, and you're just gonna run the top of this just to the body line right here. That should give you your line to kind of like mark it where it gotta go.
Well guys, I got plenty of faith with TJ because you have done this a few times, including our red EM1. Oh man, here we go. Oh man, oh man. And now we're going to move on to the rear of the vehicle. First thing we're going to start off with is the emblem.
All right, so we're gonna put our SI badge on, and when we did the red car, Mike's red EM1, I know people were complaining that we put this on wrong, but if you see here, there's these thick plastic pieces that literally you line up right in here, right into that crease, and that lines your sticker up to where it's got to go, and you literally just lay it down right? You follow that body line, and that's it. We stick the SI badge on, so we can't have it in the wrong spot. This is the way that it's meant to go. And there it is. That's it. Can't really mess that up.
All right, guys, our very last decal for this black EM1 project. There you go. There you go, air conditioning decal there. Guys, there you have it, right there. She's all finished. Well, at least so far. At least so far. She came out incredible, guys. Take a look at this right here. Incredible. She's a little dirty right now, but nothing but a wash can do. Look at that right there, guys. Look how good she looks. And guys, with that, we are all done with today's video, but we are not done with this project yet, because on the next video, we'll get some new wheels. As you can see right here, the fender liner is not in because we'll redo our complete suspension along with the undercoating on the fender well. So be sure to stay tuned next week for more. Until then, we'll see you guys again next week.